So does when you think about Warnock and Ossoff, there's so many things to ask here, but I was wondering if you think, I mean, how do they position themselves for reelection? I mean, I guess there's the question here. I mean, do they just, is it just, you just have to assume that they're gonna play the progressive card and assume that their turnout is gonna just be the progressive left? I mean, because that's not what it's been, right? I mean, I guess the runoff was such a weird election because there was I'm not sure how much you could take from that. But I mean, how do you think, forget Ossoff because he's up in 6 years and we don't have to think about him at the moment. But Warnock is, I mean, and we were talking about this in the pre the VIP room, which is like Warnock is a super interesting experiment because 2 years, new administration pushing for a lot of stuff to get done, and a Democratic majority. So just a lot of things to consider. What's your top line thoughts?
So I would think Warnock's politics are pretty progressive. So is Ossoff. But I think what Warnock's trying hard to do is brand himself as like this moral center. It helps that he's a pastor,
Right.
you
Yep.
know, so he doesn't frame things politically. He frames things as like morally right. How do we do right by Georgians? And
Right.
so
Hmm.
that's how he's going to frame things for the next 2 years. And I do think that will help him avoid some of the labels, or at least that'll help inoculate him when Republicans inevitably try to put these labels on him, that he's this radical socialist, leftist, communist, Marxist, all the things that they have and
All
will
the
say
ists.
against him.
He's all the ists.
All the ists. But what he's going to say is, I did these things because they're the right thing to do. Look at these things I've done and how they'll help people. Now, they'll all be pretty progressive things. And I think that's what he hopes will help kind of, again, help him in 2 years, because we know he's going to be up against, a more than likely a very conservative Republican. It'll be a traditional primary situation, not the winner takes all runoff that he faced. Well, I mean, winner takes all special election that went to a runoff. It'll be your traditional primary general election. But I think that's how he's going to try to do it. Whereas I think, you said don't pay attention to Ossoff, and that's right. He's got 6 years. So I think Ossoff is just going to be pretty progressive and hope that in 6 years, people are fine with it and that Georgia's electorate is even more amenable to.
Or he just gets back to the middle. He gets back to the middle in another 2 years if he needs to, right? I mean, if the state that he's got time is all I meant,